In a small, quiet village nestled among rolling hills, there lived a man named Tharo. He was known throughout the village as someone who was calm and gentle, always offering a listening ear and wise advice to those in need. Yet, Tharo's path to this peaceful demeanor had not been easy. Years ago, he had been plagued by frustration, anger, and resentment, one particularly cold winter. A neighboring villager, Jorin, whom Tharo had once considered a friend, had grown jealous of Tharo's success and reputation. Driven by bitterness, Jorin began to spread lies about Tharo. Tharo's once respected position in the community crumbled, and Tharo was shocked. His heart was burnt with anger. One evening, an elder named Seema found him by the riverbank. "Why do you carry that heavy burden, Tharo?" Seema asked. "You are a good man, but I can see the pain in your heart." Tharo sighed heavily. "It's Jorin. He has spread lies about me and ruined my reputation. I don't know how I can forgive him for what he's done." After a long silence, she spoke again. "Tharo, I want to share something with you. It's a teaching I have learned from the ancient scriptures, a teaching that may help you find peace. Have you heard of the First Noble Truth?" Tharo furrowed his brow. "The First Noble Truth? I've heard the words, but I'm not sure what they truly mean." Seema looked into his eyes with a gentle but penetrating gaze. "It is the truth of suffering. But it's not just the suffering itself that we need to understand. It's the way we react to it. Now, I am not saying that others are never the source of our frustration and irritation, but with this teaching, we are pointing at our own reactions to life." Tharo shifted uneasily. "I'm confused. Surely Jorin's actions are what caused me to suffer. He is the one who ruined my life, isn't he?" Seema nodded, but her eyes held a deep wisdom. "Yes, Jorin may have caused you pain, but it is your reaction to his actions that creates the suffering. Let me explain it more clearly. If someone is being nasty to you, or deliberately and malevolently trying to cause you to suffer, and you think it is that person making you suffer, you still have not understood this first noble truth." Tharo stared at her, unsure of what she meant. "So you're saying that it's not Jorin's fault?" Seema smiled gently. "No, I am not saying that at all. What I am saying is that even if Jorin is pulling out your fingernails, or doing other terrible things to you as long as you think that you are suffering because of Jorin, you have not understood this truth." Tharo was taken aback. "What do you mean? If someone is torturing me, how could it not be their fault that I'm suffering?" Seema looked at him with compassion. "The actual pulling out of your fingernails is indeed painful, but the suffering lies not in the pain itself. It lies in your reaction to that pain. It's your thoughts and feelings about the situation that create the suffering. It is when you think, 'I hate you,' or 'How could you do this to me?' or 'I'll never forgive you,' that the suffering truly begins." Tharo's mind raced as he tried to process her words. He thought about the many sleepless nights he had spent, replaying Jorin's betrayal over and over in his mind. He thought about the bitterness he felt, the burning resentment that clouded his heart. "So, my suffering doesn't come from what Jorin did to me, but from how I react to it." Seema nodded. "Exactly. The suffering comes from your attachment to your anger, your desire for revenge, your refusal to let go of the hurt. As long as you hold on to those feelings, you will continue to suffer. But if you can let go of them, if you can simply allow the pain to be, without the added weight of hatred and resentment, you will find peace." Tharo sat in silence for a long time, the weight of Seema's words settling deep in his heart. He thought of the way he had been reacting to Jorin's betrayal, how his thoughts had spiraled into a deep pit of anger. Slowly, a flicker of realization began to form within him. It was not Jorin's actions that caused him to suffer. It was his own mind, his own unwillingness to accept what had happened, that had kept him trapped in a cycle of pain. He could choose to let go of the anger. He could choose to forgive. Over the following days, Tharo meditated on Seema's teachings. Each time the anger toward Jorin resurfaced, he reminded himself that the suffering was not in the event, but in his reaction. Gradually, the bitterness began to fade, replaced by a sense of calm he had never known before. One morning, Tharo found Jorin in the village square. The old rage still stirred within him for a moment, but then he remembered the lesson he had learned. Instead of turning away or confronting Jorin with hatred, he approached him with a quiet, steady heart. "Jorin," Thorough said, his voice calm but firm. I have suffered because of what you did, but I no longer wish to carry that burden. I forgive you. Jorin looked at him, stunned. Thorough walked away, not free from the past, but no longer chained to it. In that quiet moment of forgiveness, he had found the freedom to choose his response. The first noble truth had become clear to him. Suffering was not the pain we endure, but the way we choose to react to it. And in that realization, there was peace.